The UK trade deal rally fizzles out with all eyes on US-China talks on Saturday. Markets ended a mixed week bumpy with trade deal highs and Fed meeting lows. So a quick recap. The start of the week was focused on the May Fed meeting. While no rate cuts were widely expected, investors were worried how bearish the Fed might have become on tariffs and how the White House would react. Monday opened the week lower. Then Tuesday followed with another decline. Wednesday, though, was the moment of truth. As expected, the Fed held rates flat but did turn more hawkish, warning of potential higher inflation and slowing labor markets, also known as stagflation, and a conflict of the Fed's two priorities. Markets turned lower after the commentary was released, but then the White House teased the UK trade deal and markets rebounded, ending higher for the day. So, as teased on Thursday, the White House announced a UK trade deal which expanded some export markets for the US in exchange for reducing some of their auto and steel and aluminum tariffs. However, the universal 10% tariff remains in place, and since the US has a surplus, there was never any reciprocal tariff on the UK anyways. Markets strongly rallied Thursday, but did give up a lot of the gains by the end of the day. Finally, Friday, markets returned to more muted trading ahead of the US-China talks on Saturday. Markets rallied early on the White House suggesting lowering China tariffs to 80%. However, the early optimism faded with the day ending more mixed. So, all eyes this weekend are on the US-China talks. Investors are hopeful for a tentative deal or at least an understanding to come out of it. With shortages looming, it's a big catalyst for the market, hoping for a quick reconciliation and recovery. We're a bit less optimistic. A reduction to 80% is still likely a non-starter for China and still adds significant increases to prices. We are hopeful for a productive conversation, but don't expect any deal to be made. How markets react on Monday could go multiple ways. Obviously, markets surge if a deal is actually struck, but again, we think that's unlikely. With how optimistic markets are, though, it may be enough if both China and the US come out with reconciliatory statements and promise for more talks. However, if talks end in stalemate, we may also see more confrontation, which will likely tank market sentiment. I guess we'll see how this goes over the weekend.